Hey there, who am I? I am nobody, and this is Sober October vlog update number 21? 21. Okay, I'm in front of my computer. I got a lot to go over today, so yeah, this is probably why I had anxiety all day. I went for a walk earlier. It was all right, but my anxiety didn't calm down till I was almost done. But anyway, all the stuff's good, although the self gratification is, I don't know if I'm going to make it on that one. I just started a new cycle of TRT and B12 and just started the gym. So everything's kind of like just amplified right now. Maybe I'll calm down in a couple days, but we'll see. So I hinted at this before in another one, I think, but we're going to talk about. I think I just figured out I'm an empath. So what is an empath? Uh, Empaths are attuned to others' emotions and are sensitive to the feelings of other people. They tend to prioritize the needs of others ahead of their own and give without being asked. This is something I do all the time. And I don't know, I don't expect anything in return. I have a thought about someone. I'm like, they'd like that and it's cheap. I don't care. I'll buy it, give it to them. It doesn't have to be a reason, just to be nice, right? They feel deeply and feel good about helping others so much that they can absorb others' emotions. Empaths tend to be overflowing with compassion for other people. And this is my motivation I'm trying to tap into with the channel. It's just to help others. And maybe through that, I'll help myself along the way. So we talk now. Now that we know what an empath is, so what's a narcissist? Because this is what I always seem to attract, right? So a narcissist is someone who views himself in a higher than thou attitude, where they believe they are more special and deserving of things. They tend to have a diagnosis of narcissistic personality disorder, which is marked by the grandiose thinking inflated by a sense of ego, lack of empathy, and need to be admired by all. Deep down, they have deeply rooted insecurities and fears, which they are covered up by these narcissistic traits. And while that sounds like your typical, you like try not to think of a narcissist in a movie, because that's not like a real representation of what every narcissist is like. Um, Basically, once a narcissist figures out they're dealing with an empath, right? Subconsciously, because most of the time this isn't conscious thought, right? Like those people are just evil. But subconsciously, then they just start to exploit and take advantage and view them as a supply chain, right? Like, what can I get out of this guy? Or what can I get out of this girl? What can I get out of this person? Like, and they just mine that for all it's worth. And you won't be the only one in their lives, probably either, right? Like, narcissists will probably have multiple people that they draw from for their supply chain. So, who attracts narcissists? Well, anyone who lacks self love, which would be me, I hate myself, does not exercise boundaries. I try, but I always fold. Fears being alone. We did a big video on loneliness a while ago, so that's no surprise. Non confrontational. Yeah, I'm not big on getting in fights, just trying to explain myself. I have a temper, so I'm very cautious of it because I don't want to blow my top on someone. Cannot self advocate. I guess that's what I'm doing with this channel, right? Fears rejection, sure. Who doesn't? That seems like an obvious one. Hates failure. Who wants to fail? But I guess it's part of the process. Lacks introspection. Now this is where my mental illness comes in. Like that does not fit me at all because with my ADHD and OCD, my brain is constantly um, running scenarios and thinking about if I'd done this, if I'd done that, if I'd gone this way, if I'd gone that way. It just doesn't stop, right? So introspection. So want to address how toxic their childhood slash upbringing was. I think that's a thing a lot of people need to go back and examine if you've got a lot of mental health issues is try and think back to your childhood and what it was like because it could be very subtle. Like I was thinking of mine today and my father was in the Navy, so he was gone 6 months out of the year on deployments. So he wasn't around much. And my mom, I don't really have memories of my mom being very coddling or loving in that sense. Like we, as kids, little kids, like as young as 5, 6, that I remember anyway. She just wanted us to go outside and play. It was one of those parents, like you go do your own thing. You come to me if you get hurt or something, right? Like not a whole lot of engagement or activeness that you see. It's almost like, and this generation that's out there now, their kids, they've almost overcorrected. They're too involved. They're too coddling. They're too hand holding. So, you know, you've got to find balance in between. But is scared of being seen as an asshole or a bitch? Um, nope, not scared of that at all. I am an asshole. Pretty sure. Needs everyone to like them. I just assume everybody hates me. So, while I don't tick all these boxes, I do tick a lot of them. What happens when an empath meets a narcissist? Well, empaths, as we just talked about, they're off highly sensitive to emotion, energies, and other, experiencing them as if they were their own. They want to provide comfort and support when needed. Uh, the friend or family member that others go to for advice and comfort, and they're just naturally caring people, right? And that's where, like, I'm a good listener, and it's because I most of the time I don't want to talk, so I take it in. I'm the fixer, right? Like empathy. If you're empathetic, um, you want to fix people, right? You want to improve their lives. You want to see the good in them. You want to nurture that. You want that to grow. And because of my mental illnesses, my depression and anxiety, and my OCD and my ADHD, um, I ignore myself all the time. So I don't really think I'm worth it. I don't value myself at all. I have a low opinion of myself. I have no self-esteem, none. So I guess, like, and this is probably why I always, like, the last several years, all I seem to, like, romantically anyway, like people I'm interested in, like, being more than just friends with, they always turn out to be narcissists, and it's eye-opening, right? In comparison, narcissists are typically cunning, insensitive, insecure on the inside, but come across as suave and confident, likely to be emotionally manipulative. That's the one there. And they need constant attention and admiration, right? It's always me with the narcissist, right? And with the empath who suffers from codependency, which I'll talk more in a minute, it's amplified, right? So you're trying to fill your hole by giving them everything they need or everything they want, and they're trying to fill their hole by taking everything that you have. So while it's obviously worse for the empath, it's still not good for the narcissist either, because they're not they're not fixing themselves. They're not moving forward either, right? So it's a terrible, terrible relationship, and that's where I always seem to wind up. So codependency, it's not recognized in medical journals, I guess, from what I could find out today. So it's not like a real diagnosable condition. It's just kind of a catch-all, I guess, to explain a pattern of behavior. The theory that attempts to explain imbalanced relationships where one person enables the other person's self-destructive behavior such as addiction, poor mental health, immaturity, irresponsibility, or underachievement. So yeah, it's almost like an extension of being an empath, but in a bad way, right? So yeah, you tend to focus on other people's needs instead of your own. I think I said this already. Yeah, you're always going to have low self-esteem. And don't always think like these, like the narcissist and the empath, it's not always like a romantic connection, right? You could be a family member who's taking advantage of an empath who's a narcissist, or just, you know, friendship that's gone the wrong way. Like it's not always like that type of relationship. When I say relationship, think of any kind of relationship, right? It's just the narcissist is going to try and exploit the empath for everything they have, right? So what is codependency? Well, codependency is often defined as a pattern of unhealthy dependence on another person. This includes such traits as poor boundaries, that's me, people pleasing, that's me, taking care of others at the expense of their own needs, that is me. It involves, so codependent individuals rely heavily on others to define themselves and their worth. So if I can't make you happy, that means I'm worthless and I'm no good and I don't deserve anything, right? So with the codependency, I'm trying to fill that. Love is such a strong word, but we're going to use it anyway. So I'm trying to fill myself with love by giving the other person everything they want. But if the other person's a narcissist, this is just, it's never going to end well, because once you're codependent and you're the empath, and you basically, we'll use the word imprint, you imprint yourself on the narcissist, you can't let go, right? It's very rare. Depending, like, once you're all the way in and committed as a codependent empath, you're kind of screwed, right? So you've got to get out early. You've got to recognize the signs. Whereas the narcissist could just drop you in a second, disappear, ghost you. You never hear from them again, and then you're stuck with that, which is obviously way bad if you're imprinted on them. So yeah, so things codependent people do, they try and fix the problem on their own, which I'm realizing now I can't fix everybody. Everybody needs different kinds of help. The point of this channel is for you to recognize that and reach out and get help, right? So always owning more responsibility for the relationship. Relationships on any level should be ideally 50-50, but as one who takes like, accountability is huge, right? It's something a narcissist just isn't going to do, is take personal accountability, right? But as an empath, I take too much personal accountability, right? So I put too much blame on it for myself. The white knight syndrome, they feel they need to rescue the partner, right? So again, it goes to fixing them. Excusing and ignoring problematic behaviors. I wouldn't say I excuse them, but I definitely ignore them. I was very aware of what was going on last time, and my subconscious codependent brain was just, screaming at me to, oh no, don't listen to that. Just keep going. Keep going. We want the love. Keep going. That's what we need. No, that's not happening. Problem is, you can't actually hear your subconscious talk, so you have to kind of guess what it's saying. It's like a relationship where one person speaks and you speak, but your subconscious can hear you, but you can't hear your subconscious. So you're kind of left in the dark trying to figure out what the hell your subconscious is up to when you want to do other things. And of course, you give up your own happiness because you're worthless, right? So, and then you mix in the depression and anxiety and the OCD and the ADHD with now understanding more that I'm probably an empath and I'm definitely codependent. It just creates other barriers that aren't so easily defined by online journals and texts. So I've still got a lot of figuring out to do for myself, but hopefully I didn't ramble on too much and that made some sense to somebody and was hopefully helpful. So as always, if you feel like your mental health is at risk or you're in distress, you should talk. Someone will listen. Thanks.